today on this fine afternoon, August 24th, 2022. Um, there's a few things I kind of wanted to jump right on since we were on the subject of this yesterday, and we were a little cut off due to the technical difficulties. And you know what? Like I told you guys before, I'm not gonna worry about that anymore. Starting to notice a little change in our numbers, especially when guys, almost like influencers, are almost they're so damn popular. They're almost influencers, and you know you know me, always a bridesmaid. So this is an opportunity that I'm taking because of a promise that didn't go through on my not on my end, but on my friend's end. But my friend unfortunately met his end. So a long time ago, I'm talking long time ago. This was post. This was I think pre 9/11 actually. Um, I had been talking with a good friend of mine who passed away about a decade ago. Uh, Ricky, you're always gonna be in my thoughts. Um, Still love you, brother. Um, there was a discussion that we had a long time ago, back when we used to just walk around and just smoke cigarettes. I mean, when you're in high school and you finally get off campus lunch, it is a ticket to freedom. And the problem was that if you were a freshman, you couldn't go out, and it was simply because of the fact that last time they tried to do this for the freshmen, they never came back. So, so they stopped giving this away to the freshmen and started giving it to anybody else. So the sophomores and up. If you had gone to my high school at my time, I went to Mather High School. Um, it was a one floor school that had only one little upper floor, and it was the gym. The gym and the pool, I believe, were the only things that were upstairs. And there, oh yeah, the showers. Um, so as we would approach the gym, I remember my friend Ricky. He and I always making jokes, and I was just I was the kind of kid that just wouldn't wear the uniform. I'd get in trouble for smoking a cigarette on campus while I'm supposed to play baseball or something. Um, I don't know. Hopefully, there's some more underachievers watching the show and can throw in a nice little word. Um, but once you make that choice where it's like, all right, I'm not gonna follow the rest of the I'm not gonna follow the rest of the herd. I'm gonna be myself, and you know, do what I want to do. And the problem is that a lot of times you got the guys that are conforming to non-conformity guys, and it turns out that these guys are just another bunch of assholes that want you to be a part of their group so they can treat you like crap. And uh, it seemed like that with my clique at first, but of course we would let our prospects graduate, just like a biker gang. You know, the freshmen were the prospects. They dealt with our constant bullshit. I have a friend named Mike, who we always called Dick with Ears. I am still talking to this guy right now. Well, not right now, but to this day, I still talk to him. This guy suffered probably some of the worst of it, along with a friend of mine that now goes by a different name. He's now doing pretty well in music, and the fact that he had given me some props saying that he was pretty stage shy and wasn't the kind of kid that thought that he could sing, and he would watch me, and I guess I gave him that that confidence, saying, you know what, if you can just try to sing, then you're already beating what you thought you couldn't get to. So, as for screaming, again, if you go ahead and listen to the first two tracks that are on SoundCloud, one is called Martyr and one is called Skull. One contains more cursing than the last, but when the next one comes, when Skull comes in and those lyrics come in, it's definitely a shot to the gut, you know. So, I will never forget that. I'll never forget that day that we were hanging out, me and Ricky, and we were walking around an alley, and I probably told this story before, but I really don't care. We had, jumped forward towards the idea of having a radio station, and his father was willing to buy. I believe it was an FM radio station, and I didn't care. I couldn't care if it was there was no XM back then, so I didn't care if it was AM, PM. The only things that were a little weird to me was the hours. They wanted me to work from, I believe it was from 3 a.m. About 3 a.m. till I think it was 3 a.m. till 9 a.m., which would have been perfectly fine with me. I would have been happy with those hours. It would have been just an awesome experience, just to be able to be in front of a real microphone and get my views out there, since people did not think the way that I do, and people still don't. But I knew exactly what I wanted from the people that were going to listen to me. I knew where I wanted the show to go, what I wanted the show to be. And things just went wrong, and I guess his father never bought it. And so the following, I think, month, I got a letter. Well, I did my homework, and it was an essay, and I got back this really awesome response from the teacher herself, and she had just said, had you been running a radio station, I would definitely be one of your regular listeners. That meant a lot to me because I was only 15, 16 at the time, and I never once thought that was going to make any difference. I never thought that I could ever make any difference, and this was a really cool way to show that, yeah, I can do what I want, and if I do well enough, I do well enough, and that's just how it went. So when you're constantly looking around and hoping people are going to um, when you're putting yourself out there and you're hoping people are going to understand what you go through or understand anything that you're trying to talk about, it's hard to do that. Definitely hard to do that because, I mean, for one, people love to watch you fail. If people can watch you fail, they'll do it in a heartbeat because that's what people really love to see. And uh, so, and nothing in high school stays the same when it comes to people. And so, a perfect example of that. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. So, yeah, what's it called? Where was I? So, anyway, when you're trying to base your entire, when you're basing your entire opinion off of the the um, the good and bad that you've gotten from teachers, you know, there are certain things that a teacher can say that can change your mind completely on not just the subject that you're on, but the very path that you were on. And nobody in high school really stays 100% the same. Um, I knew a girl in high school, her name was Shelly, and I won't say her last name, but she was this chick that went to my high school, and I just had this like small crush on her. But what I didn't get was like why she was so shy. I really didn't understand that. Personally, I had dealt with being shut down by everybody and their mother. So to see a woman like that put herself down just like made no sense to me. And it wasn't because, I thought she was weird. It was, I understood that it all bases back around to your childhood and how you're raised and who raises you and all that crap. And this same girl now goes by an entirely different name. She's now a model. Um, you know, she turned out to be exactly what I thought she should have been since day one of high school. Like she really came out of that shell, and it's not like a she's all that kind of thing where it's like, oh, we're gonna take an ugly girl and make her pretty. No, this girl was obviously hiding how beautiful she really was, and then to me that was crazy because why would you hide that? And the truth is that there's no clear answer to that. The best answer you can give to that kind of question of uh, why do some beautiful women and gorgeous women, why do they have such shyness? And it's not about the way that you see them, it's about the way that they see themselves, built on so many years of being told this is what you look like, or this is how you should look, or uh, this is the kind of look that we will not accept. This is the behaviors we will not accept. And although parents were not hover, they weren't helicopter parents, they weren't hovering above you the whole time, but they still could change the way you felt about yourself and about others immediately by the way that they would manage you. They would take that beautiful girl, like let's again said girl, Shelly, this beautiful girl that I cannot believe is dressing the way she dresses so conservatively. And not that I expected every chick to dress like a slutty Halloween costume, but back then every girl wore the short shorts. And my own girlfriend that I married, she had the shortest shorts I've ever seen. And she was a virgin and all that stuff. Yes, I know she was a virgin. I don't need to be fucking told anything else. I know she was a virgin. But if you saw her walking down the street, you would naturally think, "Oh, she's probably a slut." But the truth was, she didn't know that the shorts she was wearing looked so. I mean, there was that much cheek showing. So I had to intervene. I mean, I'm not a controlling boyfriend, so I just said, "Honey, you know that I can see about a good 13% of your ass. And this came from another woman that was also very shy. And I just never understood why she was so shy until I understood that parents do not parent the children the same way. And some parents do want their child to feel ugly. And maybe that's so that way they're more stern. Maybe so that way they would focus more on the studies than focusing on themselves, which I don't see how that can help you grow. Now, like I said, she's a model. She's living the life that she wants to live. And for the first time in ever, I'm seeing her smile with an authentic smile. Because in the end, what we learn from our parents is simply what society has fed those parents, and what they think they're doing is on the right track. I mean, if any of you disagree with me, please write into the chat and tell me. But I didn't see how anyone can see themselves other than how I see them. But that also kind of mind fucked me when I joined. Not really joined anything, but when I joined the music, uh, when I joined the band group, where it wasn't band, but it was a Mather high school rock band, and I looked at this picture of me, and I look at that picture all the time, and I'm like, man, this kid had it all. This kid was a good looking kid. This kid was not a heavy set kid. This kid had the perfect jawline, the perfect. I see that now as a former person, because it's definitely not what I look like now. I mean, this was long before I ever became the scarred face motherfucker I am. And it was it was a strange thing to understand, because my parents always allowed me to express myself any way I felt like I needed to. If I felt like I really needed to, um, if I ever felt like I really needed to reach out to them, then I would. But it would always be kind of ignored anyway. So, uh, being myself, I didn't think there was any other way around it. So, right now we're on our 20th minute. I just want to go ahead and check with somebody real quick. And another thing, the one thing that I was really trying to get everybody to talk about was the. I really wanted to talk about the last big three shows that we're doing. So what we're gonna do right now with my phone is what we're gonna do right now with my phone is we're gonna take our own TikTok, filming, basically letting you guys know this is the show. It's called STS. It's on Facebook / Useless Agent, or just look up Useless Agent and you'll see it's on live. Um, and just go ahead and click in to the chat room, join us talking about television, life, whatever the hell we want to talk about. So if you're going to join in with this chat that we're doing here, please just go right in. And if you have any trouble getting in and it won't let you, send me a Facebook message. Just go to Facebook, look up Guy Murillo or Useless Agent, and send me a message. So, you know, the power that parents really have over those kids is sad. It's sad, and it just cannot be changed. And it's a cycle that really needs to be broken. And sorry about that. Another thing that always bothered me was the I don't. I'm sorry about that. What also really bothered me? I mean, we got the new. We talked about HOD. We talked about the House of Dragon. We talked about Breaking Bad. We talked about Better Call Saul. Um, Another show that I think is so underrated is Sons of Anarchy. If there are Sons of Anarchy fans out there, God, where the hell are you guys? Because that is by far my favorite show. Um, Besides, of course, the obvious. And I don't see them very far away. Um, I don't see them being a very far away kind of people. You know, I think that their styles mesh very well with the Breaking Bad style. So, if you're a fan of the show, it wouldn't surprise me if you're a fan of the other show. If you're not a fan of the other show, that would really weird me out. So, let's go ahead and go on to a Facebook page that is literally mostly about. We're gonna go into a page that's mainly about the groups. So that we're gonna go ahead and check out the groups, and where search groups is, we're gonna do SOA. Sons of So, alright, they're both groups. I'm still waiting for that big sign to pop up. Hasn't shown up yet. But That was another show that I thought was so passed over, um, and it was overlooked because, I mean, they did things on that show no one else was doing. So, let me just try to see. Seems pretty extreme, but okay. Do you book a meeting? Do you know if you spam our page? Okay. Um, I'm checking out one of the. There's two different ones: Charming World of SOA Worldwide and the SOA Mayans MC Support Group. Um, Support Group makes it sound like the fans ended up getting PTSD or something. Um, the fact that that's the two choices. When I put out that poll that I try to put out, um, I noticed that it just kept saying save, but it never output any. It never put any of them out. And that was very weird to me. um, I'm trying to add more people. So, yeah, it's just strange how it's just strange how things happen that way. So I recently got a strange uh, thing, and recently got into some strange not interviews, but like just messages from random people, and I really didn't understand what was going on. But um, I just want to make sure that my sister didn't get ripped off here. So, you know, okay. So when we first started with Sons of Anarchy, all right, it was definitely a good time for television because it was the first time that I think that television has shown, hey, you don't have to have like massive cable to enjoy good storylines that we clearly have for you. And the other thing I loved about it was that the fact that it wasn't anything to. It already gave you the ending. Like, if you paid attention in the first 10 minutes of the show, it gave you the ending. So, this whole thing has already happened. You're the one that needs to catch up. And I love when shows do that because they know that they have this storyline ahead of time. And welcome new viewer. Please join in the chat box. The subject is Sons of Anarchy, and I think it's just an underrated show because you saw where it was starting. You saw that it was revolving around this crow that was next to this black helmet that was filled with blood, kind of reminiscent to Tremors, if you had ever seen the original Tremors movie with Kevin Bacon and I always want to say Fred or Burt Ward, but I know the name's not right. So, you have a family that's completely dysfunctional but cares so much about themselves that they would kill for each other. The problem is they don't listen. They don't follow through with the listening part rather than the killing part. So when you have Breaking Bad, a show about a man that's just trying to change who he is to who he used to be. Because when we get those flashbacks of Breaking Bad, it definitely right away starts talking about how he, not immediately, but it starts talking about how he originally had better ideas for the house, how he wanted a bigger house, and he had his mindset much higher than anything else. And that changed with Skyler basically breaking him down and turning him into a normal folk, which he did not want to be. Now, when you look at Sons of Anarchy, again, showing you the beginning and then leading you on, just like Better Call Saul did, and Breaking Bad did. So, you move on, and then again, you learn as a kind of like a detective story. You learn with the character that you don't mind the show's based around. To me, I thought Jax was a little too pretty, but as he gets older, it definitely matures him. It definitely shows who he really is, his character. I believe that show started the movement for basic cable to have good television shows. Again, if you don't agree or if I'm missing a show, throw it in the chat box. I love hearing it. So when it came down to House of Dragon, the question still remained: do you think they can carry the weight that Better Call Saul has left behind? Because it's a void that is going to have to be filled. And in the early 2000s and the 90s, we were lucky enough to have shows that knew how to take care of the other shows. Unfortunately, Sopranos had ended the way it did, but you still can't help but thank them for an original idea, original show. The Wire, I thought, ended with a mixed reaction for myself. I thought half of it was pretty good, half of it was kind of meaningless. It was nice to see McNulty finally make the right decision and realize that the harder the case, the worse he is. The harder the case, the more toxic that case becomes for him because he doesn't know how to let go. So since he doesn't know how to let go, his best place to be is a family man because he'll never let go of his kids. That I completely understand. And then you have Breaking Bad, which is story I already mentioned. You have Better Call Saul, where you have a man that's trying to change, just like Breaking Bad, but a man that cannot change his stars. No matter what, no matter how hard he tries, he can't be anybody but Slippin' Jimmy. And the fact that it kind of comes down at the very end as it's either him, it's either Saul Goodman that gets away with everything, or it's gonna be, a totally different thing, and it's gonna be it's going to be Saul talking his way through or Jimmy taking the beating. But I like how he mixed it. He used Saul to get the original sentence that he was given. He managed to turn 20 he managed to turn 120 some years plus another 90 into 7.5 years, which is unbelievable. And when we get that Walter cameo, I thought it was just funny because Walter still didn't ever know how good of a lawyer Saul really was. And so when Saul decides that he can talk his way to the seven and gets the friggin' seven, what was really cool was the fact that he realized that none of that mattered if Kim was not okay. So you knew Jimmy's feelings for Kim were something that was giving him a guilty conscience because he gave Kim shit for having a guilty conscience. And the truth is, so did Saul, but he just never wanted to admit it. And the only thing I had a problem was with I was hoping to see a comeback from Huel or Kubi because both of them are, comedians, and one of them happens to be my absolute favorite comedian, Bill fucking Burr. And that's just it. That's just the way it goes. We're going to take a simple intermission, and then we're going to do a couple more minutes,